15 years, that's how long it took Rory McIlroy to compete at the Augusta National before he finally slipped on that coveted green jacket. It was 15 years of close calls, heartbreaks, walking away empty-handed from one tournament after another, every golfer's dream there. And then he won it back-to-back, 2 straight master titles. And his second win, somebody asked Roy what the tournament taught him about life. And, what he said, it kind of, really stopped me in my tracks. And he said, you just have to keep going. And that, is really a good golden nugget that comes out of doing the right things, even when it gets hard. And I know that you're enjoying this show is talking about retirement. It's not necessarily the golf channel, but in this segment, what we're going to do is we're going to teach you a little bit about the fundamentals of winning the retirement game. So, here we are in Northwest Ohio, and our golf league just started back up. I can tell you that I played a lot of indoor winter league over at Brandywine. And what I love so much about that is it was a scramble every week. Mm-hmm. So all I had to do was make a couple of good putts and chips in here. But now every stroke that I hit on Thursday nights at Riverby, it counts. I'd say that I'm a Thursday night bogey golfer. Danny, I know that you've been playing golf as well. I know you both enjoy the game. If we look at it, I think one of the things that I need to focus on this year is trying to slow down my swing.
Yeah, there's no question. Last year, I made a drastic change in my swing, and the one thing that I don't want to compare myself to anybody on tour, but Cameron Young, who was paired with Rory that final day, if you watch his swing, he's got that little pause at the top. And the one thing that I started working on that early last year, and it drastically changed my game. I scored probably the best last year than I've scored in many years. But Nolan, one of the keys to it is what I see is a long, slow swing. I found that to be the key. You don't want to try to overdo it. Kind of like in investments. You don't want to overdo it or overthink the whole process. It's about balance in tempo, and that's what I found. Slow, steady, balanced tempo, doing the same thing on every shot. Trust the swing, and that's what's really kind of elevated my game early last year, and I think that really plays into investments.
Yeah, I think it really does. If you think about going into this year's golf season for you, Danny, anything that you're really going to try to focus on?
Avoid the water as much as possible.
Exactly.
Yes, I would say that. And, if I think about it, I was telling my wife, it's the clubs. I've been telling her for years. And she finally like, go to Miles of Golf and get new clubs. So I went up there, went on the machines, and I got new clubs.
Well, I thought they told you to take up tennis.
I pretty much should have, right? They did tell me, absolutely, I got to really work on, not swinging as hard as I do. I just come down so hard on the ball. What I had to do is I had to focus on fundamentals. And, that's what you had asked is, what can investors do? And again, you've got to be careful as an investor to make sure that you don't make this mistake. And what I mean by that is the markets, they get volatile. Instead of sticking with your fundamentals, they change course. They do diversification, and they end up, maybe trying to buy something or chase a hot investment. And they do so out of panic. Maybe they even panic and go to cash. So think about your retirement like golf. And, what you want to do is you want to slow down when things are struggling. So when the markets get choppy, don't speed up the decision. Again, slow down and review the plan that you have in place.
That's like, I would relate that to like trying to fix a slice with a harder swing or overcompensate. I'm going to aim way down the left side knowing that I'm going to slice it and hopefully hit the middle. And all that does is compound the problem. It just makes it go farther right.
So definitely another area that I need to work on is fixing my slice. You had talked a little bit about, don't go into the water as much, but this is another good one, for golfers. And what that is that you want to play the course, not your ego, right? So we've all been lined up and, you've got either the kind of the safer, smarter shot, play it down, or you can just try to go long, go over the water, and then just try to pound it down to get onto the green. If there is water on the right, if there's water right ahead of you, I would say, my best strategy is gotta go aim left, right? Got to play it up. There's a hole on Riverby. It is number 11 where you're going over the water, and then you've got to go back over the water as well. So you want to be careful. Some of those younger golfers, they go right for the green.
Sure.
I know if I did 9 out of 10 times, I'd end up in the water.
So what's the actual retirement version of that?
Well, it really comes down to what I call risk management, right? Markets are going to be markets, but in investing, you can control the amount of risk that you take. You want to build a portfolio that acknowledges that there's risk in whatever you're doing, right? There's risk for being too conservative, right? Short putts don't go in, but there's also risks that are calculated that, what are the odds of you being able to get over that pond? So you need to know how to calculate those risks and not assume that the market's going to go up forever. So you want to have some type of downside risk management system in place. You want to maybe not just get super concentrated in those hot technology sectors that we've been talking about, and you want to keep your asset incomes in place and be able to kind of put that together. That's risk management when it comes to applying golf to retirement.
So that's kind of like course management, right? You want to navigate the course. You want to kind of manage around the course. When I'm playing in a golf tournament, what I'll do is I'll take the scorecard for that particular course, and I'll go through and, this one, the number one handicap, okay, bogey here, but I think I can par, maybe get a birdie here, bogey, So I'm kind of preparing ahead of time. It's kind of like what you do, Danny, with the taxes and preparing, you want to kind of manage your taxes before you actually get to tax season, right? I mean, it's course management, it's tax management, it's investment management, all in the same thing.
Well, I love it, because you don't win the game of golf in one hole. And you really you don't lose it in one hole. I do like that about Riverby. So how we play at Riverby is it's 3 points a hole. It's how I play against the person I'm competing against, how my partner plays, and then total team score. So I could completely blow up a hole, and my partner says, hey, you've got to stay in the game, man. I need you on this next one. We gave that one up, but we can get it right back. It's no different that if, I ever hit a hole-in-one. I don't know if you guys have hit a hole-in-one before. I have yet been chasing that hole-in-one down for all of these years. But, just because you do that doesn't mean that, again, you've won the game that day.
Exactly.
The next round, the next hole could be quite a bit different. One hole doesn't make or break things for you.
That kind of sounds like the market in 2020 or 2022.
Yeah, you go back to those years when you had COVID, the market panicked. Some people made poor decisions when that happened. I met a gentleman that came into the office last week. He actually doubled down his investments in COVID and literally catapulted his results of where he's at today. So, you kind of try to have somebody that can look at, those things that seem like a panic situation and say, well, how can we turn this around? How can we turn it into an opportunity? Don't let one bad year, don't even let one bad round dictate your entire strategy. Again, we see investors that sell everything after a bad year. They pile into the market after a great year. Those are both mistakes.
So what should an investor be doing instead of that?
Well, I think it comes down to what I need to learn about golf, right? I need to learn consistency. The fundamentals, positioning, grip, alignment. I know as soon as I hit that shot, I'm like, man, I lifted my head again. I've got my partner right there for me. He's going to tell me where it's going to go. You've got to commit to the shot. You can't be indecisive when it comes to the market. You can't be indecisive when it comes to golf. Taking that half swing, second guessing it, those are really were the bad shots. And I think, I enjoyed watching the Masters. I know you both did as well. You could see it on the course where that indecision in some of those players, really, it just cost them a game. But once you have a solid plan in place, once you've done like your research that you talked about with course management, once you figured it out and you stick to the fundamentals, it means, sticking with your strategy, staying disciplined, Don't constantly second guess the market every time there's a headline that's out there.
So that's the importance of having a coach. It's kind of like with all of these, professional golfers, they all have a coach. Some of them have a swing coach. If you ever go to an event and see it live, there's somebody standing with every one of these guys, whether it's on the chipping greens or whether it's on the putting greens, they've got a coach.
Yeah, Rory didn't, win Augusta alone. He had a coach, he had a caddy, he had really a team that helped him focus on the process. And having that team in place is what keeps you grounded when emotions take over. Again, like my partner brings me back into the game. It's the biggest risk of not necessarily what the market does, it's what you do because of the market. So I'm going to leave you, with one final golf truth, and that's par wins more rounds than hero shots. So you don't need to be perfect. You just need to avoid some of the big blow-ups, some of the big mistakes. Don't just chase investment returns. Don't panic and sell. Don't abandon your plan. If you can do that, you can put yourself in a position to win. Your retirement is your Masters. And like Rory said, you just have to keep going.